All right, everybody, this is going to be a walk around or tour of the boat since I've got it finished and actually been using it on the water for a little while now. Just wanted to kind of take you through what it looks like today since finishing the restoration. I will say, and this is going to sound like a broken record for me from the last couple of videos, but this is not the end of the project. I have finished it, we've been using it, but there's some things that I kind of want to do to make it a little bit more my own, as far as things that I've learned about it since having it on the water and things of that nature. But anyway, so real quick, I'm going to take you inside and show you the interior of the boat and some of the things, how I've got it in the shape it is right now. All right, so we're gonna start here at the back of the boat. As you can see, I have 3 gas cans. This is something I started doing recently. I started taking 3 of the cans that I have. One, of course, in the middle is the original Evinrude gas tank that came with the boat. So you're probably wondering, well, why do you have one of the old tanks in here side by side with the 2 new tanks? Well, that's because this old motor really likes to drink gas. The way we hit the water is we'll get out in the morning, spend all day, and try to come back in just before you know, sunset or early evening, you know, at the latest, around 5 o'clock, something like that. So if you're starting out early in the day, you'll burn through a tank around noon, and then the second tank, of course, is to finish your day out and get you back. Well, there was a few times where I was having to buy more gas while I was out. And I'm just not a big fan of having to go into marinas and get fuel. You just pay a little bit more, and that's fine if you are docked and have a slip and all that, but when you're trailering your boat, there's really no sense in doing it that way. So anyway, that's the reason for having the 3 gas cans. Everything works great, but I'll show you something else back here, and that is behind the gas tank here in the middle. The bilge area actually became a good spot to put the battery. This was not planned, but pretty early on, when we first started taking the boat out, I realized that if that sits right in the middle, you have a spot on either side for your gas tanks. And it just happened to be the right width and everything for the battery. Never had any plans of that being the spot for the battery, but you know what? It works out great, and I've left it that way. So, and the battery is not bolted down, and it doesn't move, and it can easily be pulled out of there to charge it or anything like that if you have to. One other thing, let's see if I can get this camera to do what I need to do. Here is the battery kill back here, which kills the electric to all of the wiring throughout the boat. There it is in person. So what do I have in the boat? Well, as far as everything else is concerned, we have our ladder that actually came with the boat itself. This is coming quite handy. And then on the sides I keep, you know, rope, all kinds of things for the boat. And then turning over to this side here, it's just kind of the same story. I keep things that I need in the gunnels. I keep my 2-stroke oil for the gas, so that if I ever do need to mix it while I'm out in the water, I've got it, you know, if I need to pull into a marina somewhere. But most of the time, I just keep this here for even when I take the boat to refill the tanks when it's on the trailer. I just keep everything right here where it's easy reach for me. All right, what's next? The seats. Now, y'all know that these are lounge seats. They've worked really great. I find that we've only had people riding backwards on this seat just a couple of times when we've taken people with us. In all honesty, yeah, this is a 6-person boat, but 4 people ride comfortably, and when we're 4 people riding, it's pretty rare that anybody joins the 2 passengers in the cabin on the rear seats. Usually the 2 extra people sit up front in the bow, so you have 4 people, 2 in the front in the bow and 2 on the front half of the lounge seats. That's just how it always ends up happening. But there have been some rare occasions where we do use the rear facing. But anyway, I'm gonna put this camera down for just a second. I want to pull this lounge seat out, and then I'm going to show you what it looks like. All right, so there it is with the lounge pulled out. So you can easily lay out in the sun with the top pulled down like it is right now, dry out. It's a pretty cool part of the boat. I like having the cabin area to where you can maximize your space, and that's what these lounge seats are really all about for us. One more second, I'm going to show you the storage underneath the lounge seat. All right, so here the seat is with it tilted up. And here's what I keep under the seat. Got enough storage for one of my anchors. I have another anchor up front in that front compartment up there. But back in here, I have my little Cobalt Mechanics toolkit. It's got wrenches, screwdrivers, some things like that nature. And then I've just got a cheap anchor. I usually use this anchor for the rear of the boat, and then I've got the front anchor up there for the front of the boat, obviously front and rear. But anyway, that's what we typically do here. Everything works great. Now give me just a second, I'm gonna put this back down and I'll move on from here. All right, so right now I've got the radio turned on, but I've got it actually turned down where you can't hear anything. This has worked out really well. Just a little update since you saw me install it in previous videos. It's worked out really well. I have no complaints whatsoever. Bluetooth is great. You can keep your phone up here in the glove box, which these right here are phone protectors. They got little flotation, so if you want to hold your phone out over the water, you can. You don't have to worry about losing it. I keep patches in here for tubes, and then here's the actual remote for the stereo. So if I'm at the rear of the boat, wherever, you can use that remote to control it. The Rockford Fosgate speakers are fantastic. Only thing I might do on an update, I'm thinking about adding a few more of these. We'll see what happens. But at the moment, 2 is fine. But when you're riding up here in the front cab, you really can't hear it that well because everything, of course, is pointed back here in the cabin towards the passengers in this side of the boat. So there's some ideas floating around on possibly adding some speakers up there. Maybe right in here where the feet would ride on either side, that's one area you could put them. I might even come up with a way to put them somewhere else. I don't know, I'm just kicking around. I really hate to cut into the boat, but that's something that might happen in the future. Keep all of our stuff in a little Pelican case, keeps it watertight. And then over here in the driver's side, you know, of course, you've seen this before. Everything's pretty much the same. Have your light switch there for running or anchor lights. The gauges are working perfectly fine. I will do a video on a little thing that I've discovered at some point in the future about that. Moving on to the front. In the front compartment here, this is probably one of the handiest compartments because it will hold a lot of stuff. We have all kinds of inflatable tubes in here. I'll keep my second anchor, like I said earlier, in here. And then my rope for launching the boat, I just kind of keep it tied up all the time, and I put the excess down here. I also have tow ropes for the tube, all kinds of things. So this compartment is pretty good shape. I do need to, before I put this away for the season, I need to come in here and kind of clean out some excess stuff. But we got a pretty crammed floor right now because we're always running and going. All right, now let's look at the storage under the seats. Everything has been pretty good with this. It holds a lot of life jackets. I actually have 3 in there and can probably put more and stuff it down in this direction. Have no complaints with seat storage. And again, I got anchor ropes tied up already as well. That's one of the things is when you use it for yourself, the kind of things that you know you're going to do all the time, you just kind of set it up for how you need to use it. And we keep an anchor rope tied up to where I can easily throw it on moment's notice whenever we get to our spot that we're parking. Switching back around over here, So this is one thing I may do in the future to the boat. When my wife or one of our friends are riding up here and they're all up here in the bow rider section, one thing they do is they'll put a life jacket here behind them as padding. So there might be a future project where I add a padding seat backer right to here on both sides. It's just something I'm kicking around. I've got some leftover vinyl, so I may take some of my extra marine grade plywood and some vinyl and take them back to my seat guy and say, hey, can you make me a backer to go in the boat? That's something I'm kicking around the idea of. The other thing would be speakers. Again, I kind of alluded to it earlier. I've seen where some boats have put them in right here at the foot area, possibly on the sides. The only thing is if you do something on the sides, it's kind of interfering where your riders are. So, and this is a good footrest right now as it is. So I don't know, I really hate to make any kind of drastic changes up here. So I'm kind of leaning towards other ways of trying to figure out the sound system for up here, if it's something I even want to mess with or not. We'll see. That's just up in the air for debate right now. If you have any ideas on or thoughts, shoot them down in the comments below. I'd be anxious to kind of see what y'all would like to see, possibly. You know, if this was your boat and you were going to add sound up front, how would you do it? Would you worry about cutting into an old boat, or would you just say, no, go for it? You know, I'm just curious what everybody thinks, because, you know, it is kind of a classic boat, you know, and although I have made a lot of it my own, is there a line where, hey, don't take it too far into the future? It'll kind of salvage that classic look and lines. I don't know, just something to think about. All right, so let me show you now the Bimini top. This thing has worked out great for us, something we use a lot of. This here is the cover, and I got that dirty just the other day, so I haven't cleaned it yet, so please ignore that spot. But I'm gonna pop this cover off, and I'm gonna show you the top being put up. This thing has really come in handy from when you're dodging rain or something out in the water, you're on the lake, you're committed to the day. You pop this top up real quick and you can try to outrun some of the rain showers. We've done it quite a few times. And this is one of those things I did not redo when working on the boat. I chose to keep what the previous owner had come up with, and I have no regrets about that. It's still in good shape. Needs a little cleaning right now again. I haven't had this up in a few weeks. So anyway, but that is the front half. Let's walk back here to the back. So there's what she looks like with the top up. And it comes in handy. Get my little camera out so you can see. So again, here it is. That's underneath the canopy, or the Bimini top. Gives you a pretty good amount of shade, which also comes in handy when you're out on the water all day. Just nice. It really is a good feature. I did run it the first time out without the top even being in here. But quickly after that first run, I went ahead and put the top back in. And no regrets. Helps with rain, helps with sunlight, and it actually is just kind of cool looking. All right, so one thing I'll do real quick, now that I got the top up where you can see it, let me put the top back down, put it back together, and I'll show you what I do when we're running down the road after we leave the water with the top in the storage mode. All right, so when we're traveling down the road, I usually take this thing and I rest it right in there. So yeah, this is how I put the top in when I'm going down the road. I flip it forward, let it rest on top of the remote control. And the reason is this cover right here. I have lost this cover almost when traveling, whenever this was rested at the rear of the boat, because the wind wants to separate these clips open and wants to make it come right off the top. But anyway, that's how I use it for traveling, and everything works out pretty well. I'm gonna jump down real quick and I will show you one more thing about the trim on the motor back here. Let me get back there and I'll show you what I'm talking about. All right, so let me show you some stuff I've learned about the trim of this boat. This has old school manual trim, which is right here. This is the pin. Now this is the side that doesn't have the handle. The handle is actually on the other side of the boat. But anyway, this is your trim. You have 4 notches to run in. The notch right now that it's in, which is second to the lowest, this notch right here allows this boat to run faster and smoother across the water. Every time I've tried to trim it up higher, the boat just gets a little bit more turbulent when running, and it's just something that I noticed that I can't run as fast as I would like to, and it's a lot rougher on everybody riding. But if you run it right here, it doesn't matter how choppy of a day it is or anything like that, you can go full blast and it's smoother. That's just my experience with this motor and this boat. Now, others may differ, but my opinion is if I had another B156 with a motor of similar horsepower and the same style trim, I guarantee you I would be popping it in the same mode, because just from experiences that I've had. But anyway, that's that. Again, all you people who may be looking to get a V156 or have recently gotten one and you're not used to the motor yet, this here is your resting point for the motor. Give me 1 second, I'll flip it up and put it on this point. And that's how I travel down the road. All right, so this is what I was talking about. This is when it's in its resting position. I say resting as in we're out of water, we're traveling. I lift the motor up and keep it in that position, and then you can take this little lever right here, flip it down, and that keeps this thing from bopping up and down when you hit bumps or anything. Keeps it locked in place. Same thing when you're on the water. You can also lock this down when the boat is trimmed and actually being in usable mode, no longer in resting mode. You can flip this down and it'll keep it from jumping when you go from forward to reverse. The motor wants to try to pull itself up out of the water, but if you've got this latch pulled, it keeps it locked into place. Some of you boaters will know the importance or negatives of that, but that's just something I've noticed with this motor. But anyway, that's pretty much it. Let me go back to my other camera and we'll wrap this video up real quick. All right, so as I was saying just a few minutes ago, that's what we've learned from having the boat the last little bit on the water. We've really enjoyed it. Season's pretty much winding down here in Arkansas right now. We are days away from October. Actually, this coming week, this is a Sunday right now that I'm recording this. So here, and just before the next weekend, it'll be October. And I don't have a lot of plans for using the boat in out of summer conditions, but I probably will take it out for another spin or two before I put it away for the winter. It's nice to go back to the lake when there's not a lot of boat traffic there. The lake we go to kind of quiets down after summer's over. You'll see a lot more fishermen and stuff out there, but it's more of a water sports lake where you'll see sailboats, big boats, you'll see jet skis, you name it. There's all kinds of water vehicles out there, or watercraft, I'm sorry, that's the technical term. But anyway, yeah, so our days are numbered for the season, but we will take it out on some cooler temperature days where you can't jump off in the water, but you just want to go out and take her for a spin. That's what we've got left before putting her away for the winter. But again, I think that's pretty much going to do it for the walk around. I had a viewer suggest a walk around video, and I thought, you know, that's a good idea. I hadn't planned on doing one of those, but letting y'all see what I've done since actually using the boat and kind of doing a full walk around with the interior in and my stuff actually in here for usable mode. And that's pretty much everything I can think of to show you and stuff that I've learned about the boat. Anyway, I hope that you have enjoyed it. If you have, as always, I ask that you give it a like, comment, anything you can do to help support the channel. I always appreciate it, and I look forward to seeing you next time on the next video. But if you would like to see me next time, please hit that subscription and the notification bell so that when I do release another video, you will be notified and you won't miss anything here on the jmink channel. Again, my name's Josh. Thanks for watching.